Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday. Yeah, I've recently turned over sort of a new household leaf here at our house, which is not yet beloved by the children, the young adults, I should say. It came to my attention that my son spends a great deal of his time in his room with his door closed. I don't really think he's doing anything bad in there, but at the same time, he's in his room with his door closed for hours and hours and hours, and I like to see his face. So, I have recently instituted an instruction that he's got to keep the door open. And he does not much care for that, and he keeps forgetting, and I keep reminding him by opening the door. My daughter spends a lot of time in her room also, but she always has the door open. And, I kind of like to be able to, even if it's annoying sometimes, to hear what they're listening to and to be able to have them know that at any time I can pop my head in. So we're trying that, and I'm also trying to do more family-type activities and, make... my son usually eats very quickly and then leaves the table at dinner and goes back in his room and closes the door. Now he has to sit at the table the whole time. And I feel very good about this. I think it's a good and healthy thing. However, privacy-wise, part of me wonders, should he be able to be in his room with his door closed sometimes? Don't we all deserve to be in our room with our door closed sometimes? Do parents ever get the opportunity to do that? I'm not sure. But I thought I would ask you guys. Now, my kids are young adults. My son is 25, so in a way, one might feel he should be able to do whatever he wants to do. But at the same time, there's some developmental issues. And also, you know what? When we're all living in the same house... Right. As we discussed with your son, Nicole, sometimes when the kids are still living at home as young adults, you get to make the rules, and it's fun, and why not? Who wouldn't want to do that? So I thought I'd talk to you guys about what are the privacy rules in your home. Do you allow kids to have unlimited alone time? Do you legislate that at all? Do you put, hidden cameras in the room so that you can monitor what they're doing when they're in there?
Nanny cam.
Exactly. The thought has occurred to me more than once, to be honest. So am I doing a terrible thing here by telling a 25-year-old young man that he can't have his door closed for 7 hours a day and be in there? He does productive things. He works volunteers at a food pantry, and he works on the weekends, but he is, at this point, as we've discussed in many past podcasts, underemployed. And so in the meantime, he has a lot of room time. So, and Catherine, your kids are younger than mine, but do they expect to have unlimited periods of privacy? And do you agree with that, or laugh heartily and open the door?
Well, my older one is 16 and definitely spends a lot of time in her room.
Yeah.
And, it's a combination of homework and Netflix and, FaceTiming her friends or whatever. But the one good thing about our old house is that you can hear everything. Yeah. There's not a lot of privacy in here because you can just hear things through the walls and the floors and the vents. And so, I don't really mind, her being in there. I feel like I did that a lot as a kid too, as a teenager. I still, as a adult person, crave alone time that I don't really get very much of, except during the day when I'm supposed to be working. So I haven't really put a lot of rules and limits on her, mostly because she's just, it's working, she's getting done what she needs to do. And when it's time to eat or do something else with her for the family, she's cheerful about it. So, haven't felt the need to create rules about it just yet. My younger one is 13, and at the time when we were moving all the furniture out of his room because we took out the carpet. He moved his computer down into the basement. And it has stayed down there, which has turned out to be kind of a good thing because it's a little bit closer to the common areas of the house than his room is. So he tends to kind of hole up down there. And then I, wander through from time to time, like, oh, I need something from the fridge that's down here, or I'm going to go on the treadmill or whatever. Yeah. So there's more occasions to kind of just check in, like you said. And with both of them, they just have so much time when they're not at home that when they are home, I'm pretty laid back about what they do. Yeah. But of course, the summer is coming. And especially for my son, it could be just screen time till the cows come home. So he's going to have some, as we talked about, his points earning chart has incentives on it for for non-screen, non-alone bedroom or basement things. So I think that's the plan. We'll see how that goes.
I think when they were in school, it was different, but now it's just, there's oftentimes so many hours of a day when there's, just sort of this unsupervised hidden away behind a door time that I've become uncomfortable with. But we'll see how long I enforce it. But Nicole, how, especially now that you have an adult moving back in, how do you feel about that stuff? Do you expect to have anything to say? And what do you think about your daughter with that?
Well, it's funny because my son has always been far more interactive with us than my daughter, and nothing's changed. So, since he's been home, he does spend time in his room, and he kind of we're still trying to sort out, what is courtesy in terms of communication, and what is giving him his space. And so, but to backtrack, he generally doesn't need coaxing out of his bedroom, or he doesn't need any kind of enforcement, rules of enforcement, because he's always been quite chatty and interactive with us, and it seems like that hasn't changed, and he's spent a lot of time with us since he's been home. My daughter, on the other hand, if she could go and lie in her bed 24 hours a day, she would.
As long as she had her phone with her.
As long as she has her phone, and access to Netflix and social media. She's the one that I need to be really on top of in terms of making sure she interacts with the family, because, she can just slide on out of the room and see her. And it's funny because I remember when my kids were born, my neighbor said to me, don't let them ever have a TV in their room because you'll never see them. Right. And I was like, okay, so adamant all these years about them not having TVs in their room, but now they have their phones. So
that's true.
Defeated the purpose. So she's really hard to pull out and to get her engaged with the family. And I feel like, I don't know, I cleaned out one of my drawers yesterday in my kitchen, and I found these stack of playing cards, and I'm thinking, maybe I could get her to the table with a game of cards or something. I don't know. I doubt it, but I'm trying to think of ways that we can be more, to communicate more as a family, as opposed to just demanding that she come sit down with us.
I'm trying to legislate a family game night. We'll see how that goes. First day, I don't want to do it. That's when it's going to die.
Exactly.
First day, you're like, I think I need to watch some TV for the podcast.
And it's so sad because that's the thing, right? Like you would rather not play cards either. It's kind of like you're forcing yourself to do something.
I used to play Uno with my son all the time, and then I think I got busy doing stuff, and so I kept putting him off and putting it off, and then he got into a phase where he wouldn't let me play with him. He would sit there playing by himself. No, that's okay. I don't need it. and then I feel terrible. So I'm trying to kind of get back into that, even though it's going to be hard. But, we need some family interaction, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't like the, just everybody being solitary doing their own thing. And then we just, we do have dinner together every night, but, people kind of flee the table when they're done. And so it doesn't feel like, that we're all having a conversation together. So I'm going to work on that, but it's hard.
It is
hard.
It's hard because we're humans too, and you set off with the best of intentions, but then one day you're tired or you're busy or something's going on, and then, you feel like a hypocrite. So everybody else has to do when I want to, but if I don't want to, nobody can make me do it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And
and it's very hard if everyone is not into it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like you said, it's hard to force it on people.
Yes, I made my husband abandon a baseball game to play bingo with us last night, and he was polite about it, but...
Did he leave it on in the background?
He kept complaining every time my son took too long to call the number. Call the number! Come on! Let's get through this!
Let's hurry up and get through this. Isn't that the truth? Because every time we try a family game, it's like, okay, it's like a, it's like a chore.
That's right.
quickly, go, hurry, Kristen.
It is.
Decide.
And I hate that. I want to feel like we're doing this stuff.
I know.
But, and of course, another aspect of privacy with young adults and teens is how much of a right do you feel you have to see what they're doing on their phones? Do you ever, do you have their passwords? Do you ever check? I've recently made it clear once again that if I'm paying the phone bill, you have to give me your password, and I have to be able to look at your phone at any time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not my son, but he's not lived at home for 2.5 years, so I really haven't had any say over that. But my daughter, she's pretty open. Like she doesn't seem
you
to.
You gave me an example.
That's right, I didn't I? Yeah. She doesn't have.
Basically, she doesn't have any qualms about sharing.
Excellent.
No.
Well, that's what you
whatsoever.
Want. And I mean, I'm sure everything's okay and that there's nothing I need to know about, but, you always have these doubts in the back of your mind, or in my case, my kids feel that maybe somebody is doing something and they don't realize it, or, what if somebody's taking advantage of them, or what if they're communicating with somebody I don't know? What if they're downloading something and they don't realize it's wrong? I don't know. Plus, that's one thing. And the other thing is, if they know I can look at it at any time, perhaps it will reduce their.
You pretty much don't have to
do something dangerous.
Right? Yeah. But I started seeing all these alarming, articles and Facebook posts about Snapchat after dark and how awful it was. And so I asked both my kids, I'm like, what is this Snapchat after dark thing? And they both looked at me like I was completely crazy. They'd never heard of it. They did not know anything about it. And now they do.
I'll check that out, Mom. Thanks for the tip.
I was like, great. That worked out real well for me.
Talk about backfiring.
But especially when they spend so much alone time with just that device.
Yes.
You know, what are they doing for hours and hours and hours?
I used to spend hours talking on the phone, right?
Yeah.
I know that there's so much more that you could get into on smartphone, but I think about, in terms of time being away from the family. Well, I used to spend hours in my room talking on the phone.
Yeah.
With my friends. I don't know if it's, at least this way, even if my kids are in their room, and we're downstairs, we still text each other.
That's true. Yes.
Still text from the other room. So there is still some communication going on. Let's just count our blessings here.
You need to do like a character did on Trophy Wife and invent a teenage persona for yourself that's in your child's social network so that you can monitor everything going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Diane has shown that only she has the power to pull off something.
That's true. That's true. If she weren't making a good living as a doctor, she could go into business with that. We'll spy on your child by pretending to be a teenager.
In.
Yes.
Provide you with documented updates on what's happening.
I don't know. I just feel like we're entering a whole other zone in our house, so it'll be. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Things could change in an instant, but